It's so fun to be on live with you guys. I think the last time I was on live, I was still pregnant, and now the Facebook Live interface thing looks all different. So I hope I'm doing everything right. If something isn't working, please tell me if you can't hear me. Anyway, we're going to talk about gifts really quick, and while you're hopping on here, if you're watching the recording of this later, let me know where you stand as of, well, today is November 18th. Where are you as it comes to Christmas presents? Are you the person who had everything purchased back in October? Have you not even thought about it at all? I like to try to get my presents purchased, like 95% of them in November if I can. So I feel like November is kind of like the on-ramp to Christmas. If I can get the logistical stuff out of the way in November, then December can be a little bit more of like the enjoying fun stuff, unless you find the gift buying process to just be super, super fun. So, and I just was like praying that 2020 would be redemption when it comes to Christmas and gift buying, because last year I was very sick with the blessing of our second child around Christmas time. So it was just kind of like, just did not, it wasn't like a beautiful, very well planned, very well executed situation. Anyway, so far so good. I'm doing a lot better this year, but I want to share this very unique kind of philosophy mindset related to presents that, especially if you're someone who is like a little bit of an overthinker like I am, I think is going to be helpful for you. So tell me if you ever feel kind of a tug when it comes to gifts or just like life in general to like value all these different things that are all good things and that other people value all at once. Here's what I mean. Last year, or maybe the year before, someone that I know posted on Facebook saying something like, I'm trying really hard to buy from small businesses for all my Christmas presents this year, so let me know what some of your favorite Etsy shops are, or whatever, something to that effect. And Beth, if you're watching this, it was you. And I thought, like, that is so good. Like, that's so great. Good for her. But then I also think, oh, I should probably be doing that too. Like, am I a gross person because I buy like a lot of my presents from Amazon or like big box stores or whatever? So here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell you is there are so many different things that you can value when it comes to purchasing your gifts. You can't value all of them or you will lose your mind. So here are some things that you might value, choose to value. Here are some things that, like, these are all good things to value, honestly. But I want you to choose like one or two things that are the biggest priority for you, because that is going to help you make decisions about what you're going to buy for people, how much you're going to spend, how much time you're going to put into it, where you're going to buy from. So here's some things that you might choose to value when it comes to Christmas gifts, and just gifts in general. Simplicity and like time. You might value minimalism or experiences. You might value very thoughtful gifts, which could be even homemade gifts. You might value supporting small businesses, like the example I gave, or local businesses. You might value like frugality, financial stewardship, spending as little as possible, getting the best deal that you can. You might value things that are ethically made and sourced, right? Or even just like other things that are important that are kind of like personal values, like maybe you really value health. So you're not going to buy someone like really junky food. Or you value faith, and so you want to buy people as many gifts as possible that are going to like cultivate their faith and encourage them in their faith. Or the environment is a big like value for people when it comes to spending, right? Like if you really value the environment when it comes to gifts, maybe you're going to try to buy as many things that are used as possible, or you're going to try to buy things that are not going to do as much damage to the environment as like the giant, I don't know, plastic Barbie dream house. That was the first thing that came to mind. I don't know why. So those are all really good things, right? Like you can buy like really wonderful gifts for people with any of those things in mind. But if you are trying to do all those things, if you are trying to like keep things really simple, and you want to have really thoughtful homemade gifts, and you want to keep things really cheap, and you want to, you don't want to give people stuff that they don't need because you're like minimalistic, whatever. If you're trying to do too many of those things, you're going to be really stressed, and you're going to spend so much time trying to make decisions about what gifts to buy people. And this is where the overthinking thing comes in. Again, I'm sure probably not everyone thinks the way that I do, but as kind of like a perfectionistic type and someone who's very intentional, which is a good thing, but also kind of a curse sometimes, I can get in my head like trying to hold too many of those things and do too many of those things, and then it'd be one thing if I only had to buy gifts for like 3 people, but my list of people is big. And that's even with like, I feel like doing exchanges and like trying to be intentional to not just like give to every single person, like all the cliche advice. It still is a lot of people. And if I was like trying so hard to like think through that for every single person, it would be, it's so stressful. So here's the other thing. You can decide from year to year what is going to be most important to you in that year. So it's not like you have to just pick once and then stick with that forever. There have been times in life based on like when we were paying off debt or my husband was starting a business or whatever, where like the frugality was really important to me. So I was going to try to like get as many deals as I could. I was willing to shop at lots of different stores if it meant I could use up the gift cards in my wallet or whatever. This year is not one of those years. This year, the things that I am valuing the most when it comes to the Christmas presents that I'm purchasing are simplicity and, valuing my time. And I'm valuing like minimalism and experiences and trying not to give people like lots and lots of things that they maybe don't need and that just kind of like adds clutter to their house. So what that means, practically speaking, is I'm buying as many gifts as I can from Target and Amazon. And I am buying like gift cards for people who I know who are going to restaurants, buying gift cards for restaurants or places that they can at least get like takeout from if I know they don't want to be in a restaurant. So look, like in that way, I'm supporting small business, right? By buying gift certificates to local restaurants, like that's great. But that's not the number one thing that I'm choosing to prioritize. If I was, I wouldn't be shopping from Amazon and Target, right? I would be like driving around to local businesses and trying to buy everything from them. So I still care about those things and like I'm still taking those things into consideration to some extent. But overall, those are the biggest things that I'm focusing on. Trying to get as much as I can from Target and Amazon and trying to do as many like experience gifts, gift certificates to nice restaurants that I know people really enjoy as possible. And along the lines of the simplicity thing too, I also am trying really hard to just get people one nice gift if I can, instead of a bunch of smaller gifts. So like, okay, if my budget for someone is $40, I'm gonna try to get them one thing that costs about $40 instead of like 3 things that add up to $40. That kind of fits like my minimalist value a little bit. It makes things simpler. I only have to buy one thing and I only have to wrap one thing too. So, and if I can, buy like when I have a choice with those gifts, I also try to buy something that's like on the smaller side. So rather than, if someone gives me their Amazon list, I'm going to try to not buy like the largest thing on the list that's going to take me 20 minutes to wrap, or like a $15 gift bag to wrap it. Let's see. Oh, Amy, hi, it's good to see you. Yeah, Amy's like, if you're moving across state lines the week before Christmas, gifts might not be your top priority. Yeah, gifts in general probably wouldn't be your top priority, like any, but yeah, if you are gonna do some, definitely don't choose to value like really, really thoughtful homemade gifts this year. Not the year for that, and that's okay. Maybe another year will be. So, by the way, this applies to other purchases as well, not just gifts, but even like when it comes to kids' clothing. I was just talking about this with my best friend recently who just had her first. Like, you cannot value all the different things and stay sane. So when it comes to buying clothes for your kids, are you going to be the person who wants to get the best deal and you're going to sacrifice time by like driving to consignment stores or being in your local kids cycle Facebook group and like spending a bunch of time in that? Nothing wrong with that, right? But you're gonna like give up time, or is time really important to you? So you're gonna just be like, this is kind of what I do. Like, these are the 3 stores that I shop from, and like a couple times a year, I make a list of what my kids need. I pull up the browser tabs, I find what they need, order it, done. Or do you really value like the environment? So you're gonna try to buy used, or you're gonna try to buy organic cotton as much as possible, which H&M is like one of the best mainstream stores that I found for that. So but if you can kind of decide, like, here's what's most important to me, then you don't get, like, when you get an email coupon from a store, you're not like, oh, I need to use this, because you're like, no, that doesn't really fit my value, if that makes sense. So let me know what you guys think. Comment on this video. Let me know what you think is most important to you this Christmas. Like, what are the values you're going to keep in mind as you're shopping? Feel free to share any and all tips you have in the comments, right? We are all in this together. Like, we need all the help we can get. Let's be honest, women are the ones who are doing most of the work when it comes to Christmas. I just read something the other day and I laughed out loud so hard because it was like, said something like, Christmas, a festival put on by women for the enjoyment of men and children. I was like, yes, that is so true. So anyway, we need all the help we can get. We need to like work together and share any tips that we have. So share in the comments. I keep looking over here when I talk about comments because that's where it's showing up on my screen right now. But and also I want to let you know that through the end of this month or through the end of November, I have a holiday class that's available for only $19 if you go to dianakerr.com/Christmas. It's a 42-minute class that you can listen to, or you can just read the transcript if you want, with all sorts of unique tips for Christmas. And the name of the class is Fighting for Margin, Joy, and Peace in the Holiday Season. So if that's important to you and you want some unique tips, kind of like this, like going beyond the obvious things like do a name exchange or whatever, but tips for all different areas of Christmas, that would be a great, very small investment to make in your sanity. And it comes with a self-coaching workbook that's like 8 pages or so with some questions to really help you think about, and like there's some really good creative questions so that you tee yourself up for a Christmas that is intentional, however you want it to be. Which I read someone's blog the other day. She was like, if you want to have an intentional Christmas, like pretty much your only option is to plan ahead, unless you just have tons and tons of time and you can just like leisurely get everything done in the last couple weeks. Like, you probably have to plan ahead if you want to have a peaceful Christmas. So check out that class, and it was so fun to be back on video with you guys. I wish I could see your faces, but that's what the comments are for. So comment and say hi. I love you so much. Talk to you soon.